In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Today we celebrate Phoebe, deacon of Cenchreae, and with her we celebrate deacons and servant leadership. But it's a mistake to think that servant leadership applies only to deacons. Jesus is pretty clear that servant leadership is what he is modeling and what his disciples need to model as well. Servant leadership flips the standard of leadership in Jesus' time on its head. Rather than trying to generate as much power and wealth and status as possible for the leaders of the community, servant leaders look to share power, serve those they lead, and encourage the development of leadership skills in others. A leader serving at the table rather than sitting at the table and being served was as countercultural as it gets, then and now. One of my very best supervisors always looked for opportunities for me to learn and to take the lead. He never worried about me overshadowing him. Rather, he worried about whether he was taking too much of the lead and leaving others silent. He tried daily to live into the model that Jesus gives us. But there is a dark side to servant leadership as well. The concept can be twisted by leaders who are most definitely serving their own self-interest and who seek to subjugate other would-be leaders. The church spent centuries of lifting up women as servant leaders who were not allowed to lead. They dismissed Paul's description of Phoebe as a deacon as merely a technical term of the use of the word for one who serves, rather than acknowledging her leadership, to avoid the uncomfortable fact that women could not be ordained, and still cannot in some churches. This is an important example of the powerful telling someone that their service is really important, but not important enough for them to lead. Now, those who manipulate power sit tight at the table, and they let others serve. Now, for us today, it's an election year, and it's important for us to consider what type of leaders we want to have serve us, and then to vote accordingly. I can't emphasize enough the importance of discerning the choices that will be laid before you in November and getting out and voting. That is an important way that you can try to instill a sense of servant leadership in this world. And it is also important for us to look inside of ourselves and to consider our own lives. We need to ask ourselves, am I serving God or expecting to be served? Whose place at the table am I taking up when I should be serving? Who should I be lifting up? And to whom should I be giving a voice? Who am I minimizing by making them a servant and not a servant leader? Servant leadership allows for diversity in decision making and decreases the focus on the self-interest of a few. Now, Paul demonstrated his ability to share leadership by this very piece from the letter that we read today. He lifts up Phoebe and Prisca and Aquila, Epaphras, Mary, Andronicus, and Junia. He lifts up those he depends on and shares leadership with them. His example of sharing power, leadership, and status is one we can all learn from. Imagine, what would the world be like if our leaders all practiced servant leadership, sharing power, putting the needs of others before their own, helping others to grow into their own leadership, and existing to only serve others? It would be a world where the kingdom of God, heaven didn't seem remote and unreachable. Who is sitting at the table and who is serving? And how can you turn the world upside down?